Hi, everybody. Today we are going to talk about anger. And anger is a powerful force. I would look at it as fire, and anger can do many things. It could hurt people, including ourselves, or it could do us, like it could serve a purpose. You can use anger as fuel to take action on something in your life, or you could also use it to overcome a fear. That's what I've been using a lot of my anger for as of recently, is I use that fuel to overcome fear or to speak up about something that is hard to talk about to somebody or just out loud to myself. So I want to read you and share a few quotes from Thich Nhat Hanh. He wrote a really good book called Anger, and I haven't read it yet, but I've been reading some of his quotes, and they're pretty freaking on point and resonating. So I'll start off with I have like three quotes. I will start off with the first one. It's a long one. When we get angry, we suffer. If you really understand that, you will also be able to understand that when the other person is angry, it means that she is suffering. When someone insults you or behaves violently towards you, you have to be intelligent enough to see that the person suffers from his or her own violence and anger. But we tend to forget. We think that we are the only ones that suffer, and the other person is our oppressor. This is enough to make anger arise and to strengthen our desire to punish. We want to punish the other person because we suffer. Then we have anger in us, and we have violence in us, just as they do. When we see that our suffering and anger are no different than their suffering and anger, we will behave more compassionately. So understand the other is understanding yourself, and understanding yourself is understanding the other person. Everything must begin with you. This is so true. Because growing up, I lived with my dad. My mom left when I was really young. But from what I remembered, my mom was also a very angry ass person. We had this in our family. It is just the Vietnamese blood. We run mad and angry and resentment and spiteful. My dad was very, very angry. That's all I known him to be, was very abusive, angry, and I didn't understand this growing up because as a kid, you don't really know what's happening. You really don't understand, as a kid, unless you're being explained that, okay, this is not to be taken personal, because when someone is angry and they take it out on you, you feel unloved. You don't feel worthy. Like, it really messes up your self-esteem because you think that you did something wrong. And so I had to do a lot of reprogramming with myself because my dad was so angry all the time, so mad, pissed off. Like, anything I would talk to him about, he would always just blow up on me like a freaking bomb. And so I was always afraid to talk to my dad or to ask questions, or even, yeah, ask permission to go hang out at my friend's house or go to my neighbor's house, because he would just freak out of nowhere. And so when I grew up, like, I had to understand where this anger was coming from. And it is because of his inner child is wounded and he's hurting inside. He has so much pain that he doesn't know how to transmute that anger. And anger could be transmuted in so many ways, right? We could use it like fuel. There's like, when I get mad or angry, I do the things that scare me the most with that fuel. For example, like, yeah, taking action. It's like a very masculine, productive energy. And I think that anger is more productive than sadness and depression, or, yeah, like sorrow. When you're feeling depressed, you don't have enough energy to do anything. You just lay around. But when you have anger, you actually have a lot of more like fire in you to take action and do something with your life, or to do something harmless to yourself and other people. You don't want to be you don't want to blow up in that way where you're destructive towards yourself and to other people, which when I was growing up, that was the type of anger I used as my outlet. Was when my dad would trigger me and make me so mad, I would start biting myself, like biting my skin and self-harming. And would start, cutting my wrist or getting tattoos and bringing up more like physical pain in my body because I had so much emotional pain and anger that I started to do more like drugs and things like that. But yeah, I would go out and have sex and be aggressive, just I could take anything. My body would look at, I have so many tattoos now. Think about it. Like I have high pain tolerance because of all the emotions. But with anger, there's so many ways to look at it. You can use it in a positive way, which I transformed my anger into going to the gym. Like I loved going to the gym, working out, lifting weights, and that was a healthier way to express the anger and the rage, which with what I was going through in my life at the time. And I think that's healthier than us blowing up and hurting people and being violent towards people. Even with words, like you don't have to physically hit somebody, but with your words and how you express yourself. Like my dad, how he yelled and said such mean things that still hurt me. Like years down the line, like I remember the stuff he said and it still hurt, as of today. It's all good. Things don't come up anymore, but I forgave my dad because I knew that he was hurting inside and he was hurting from what I don't know. We don't know half of the battle that people are dealing with in their lives. And so we take shit so personally when people get mad at us or towards us. And really, we have to be, like Thich Nhat Hanh said, to be more wise, to be more intelligent, to know that it's not personal, it's not you, it is their own suffering, their own ego that is trying to protect them. And that's why they're so angry and mad, and they're causing their own suffering in the end. Let me read you another quote. So yeah, people have a hard time letting go of their suffering out of fear of the unknown. They prefer suffering that is familiar. It almost sounds so true, right? Because some people do tend to stay in negativity more than putting their energy and focus into being positive. And it takes more effort. Definitely, it takes a lot more energy to shift yourself to being happier and joyful and letting go of a situation or something that upsets you so much that you can't sleep. You're thinking about it all day and night, that this person triggered you to the point where you just lost your cool. Like you totally are like a tree that got knocked down by the storm. So yeah, it's important to be grounded. It's important to be centered and balanced and not let these outside external people or things around us bring us down. Like the shit that happens in the world, if we watch the news and we get so triggered and angry about the shit, how can we actually be productive in changing that? Yes, we can be mad and then be revengeful or spiteful about something, but it doesn't help because two wrongs don't make one right. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world, which is we approach it from a different view or a different way, which is through love, through responding with love or being more compassionate and understanding, which takes a lot of energy and work. It's a lot easier to just get mad and just blow up in someone's face and talk shit about them, right? I mean, we do it all the time. I do it. I know so many people around me that do it as well. I know other people that don't even express their anger too. And that's also unhealthy. We're all human. We have to experience all of the emotions. And anger is one of the emotions that people feel very ashamed of feeling. And I've known many friends in my life that don't express anger, don't show it, denies that they ever get mad. And when they do get mad, it's not really authentic because they feel ashamed when they do get upset. They don't want to express it. They say they feel uncomfortable, it doesn't sit right with them, and that they don't want to ever experience anger again. And it's like, that's unreal. Like you have to, like we're all human. We got to experience it. We have to not suppress that because eventually you're not authentic. You're not being real. You're not embracing those shadows and those parts of you that is what makes you a human, and that's what makes you you. Okay, one last quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. When you have pain within you, the first thing you have to do is bring the energy of mindfulness to embrace the pain. And you say, I know you are there, little anger, my old friend. Breathe. I am taking care of you now. It's the mantra he says to himself when he's mad or when he feels anger. You will be able to look deeply at the true nature of your anger. This discovery, this understanding, this wisdom will liberate you from your pain. It is true. As long as you're open and mindful enough to look deeper into, why am I so triggered? Why is this person pissing me off so much? Why do I get so angry about this or that? Or why am I still so mad? It is your own suffering. You're causing your own suffering, but there is a pain that you're feeling inside of you that you're probably not like aware of. And maybe you don't want to face it. Like my dad doesn't want to face his anger. Like he doesn't want to face and soften up and cry it out. But I find that when you do have anger, it's fire, right? And to calm that fire is some water. Yes, you could give it air, it gets it really wild, it'll get bigger and bigger, but you give it some water so it could dissipate and diffuse the fire. And so that requires us to cry. It requires us to breathe deeply through this anger and this fire in the pit of our stomach, in our soul, and our hearts that we feel. And when we breathe deeply and we exhale, which I find transformative breath work to be so powerful to release the anger. Same with using eye drops, Sananga, because it grounds you and it humbles you and it makes you cry and release all of that pain that we hold in our hearts and in our minds from past traumas and experiences. And that way we can liberate ourselves. We feel lighter. We feel more in our hearts rather than in our emotion of anger. We feel more in our hearts. Our heart feels lighter when we cry. We feel more soft. And that's where the anger could be transmuted, for sure. I find that when I was angry, I started to tap and breathe deeply. And I find this to work because Geraldine had taught me this one. You just tap your chest and breathe out, exhaling like deeply. So you breathe in, so that powerful breath work of exhaling releases so much of the anger that we feel, and it leads us to eventually crying and relieves us from such a heavy burden that we hold in our hearts. So I've been through it. My dad's been very fucking mad and angry all of his life towards me and just towards himself. My mom has been very angry. My grandmother, I mean, I can tell you stories where my mom and dad and my grandma, not my dad's mom, my grandmother, my mom's mom, so violent, angry, and triggered, so much heat in this Vietnamese blood. My dad abused my mom so much, attempted to kill her, chased me with a fucking knife, slaps me, hits me. I could give you all the details, but my mom also, like I've seen her mad, and she recently, like a year ago, got so mad at her ex that she got a knife and like started to go after him. And luckily he put his hand up, so she stabbed him in the hand. But that's crazy. That's scary, right? To hear that. But her mother raged so badly. That's why I was like growing up and I didn't really know my grandmother, my mom's mom, but from what I remember, she was mean. So I wasn't fucking around with her. But she murdered and killed my step grandfather. And no matter if he was a pedophile or not, the fact that she was raging so much inside that she suffered so much with it that she was like, fuck this, I want to end his life and I want him to stop doing this shit to my family. it was crazy to think about how much rage you must have felt for somebody else that you wanted to, it led you to this outcome of murder, of homicide, like killing somebody, taking someone's life. And she went to jail, and then a few years later she smoked herself to death, and she had lung cancer, I believe. So anger leads to more anger and leads to destruction, and fire burns and destroys everything. So when you have awareness, this is how you change and shift. Do we want to hurt more people? Do we want to keep continuing to hurt ourselves? Do we want to still feel angry all the time, and or do we want to transmute that? Do we want to change this fire into going to the gym, working out, overcoming a fear? I remember when I was like so pissed and triggered by somebody I was living with, it got me, it actually helped me because I used the anger. Of course, I spoke up and like had some verbal like back and forth, cursing and yelling, but it helped me overcome a fear, which was like, I'm just going to buy my ticket. I've been wanting to travel. I've been wanting to go to Mexico. I was trying to go to Bali. I was, all the stuff that I was trying to do and I didn't want to do because I didn't have enough fire in me to push me. This is what it led me to do. So I was like very grateful that it kind of, I mean, maybe a part of it is like very impulsive, but there is some good aspect in transmuting anger to overcome fear, using that to overcome fear, overcoming some scary shit that you've been wanting to do, like you haven't been able to do. It's just helped you pull the trigger. So it could be looked at it that way. Like, I competed a lot in bodybuilding and bikini, and I used a lot of the anger in the gym to lift some heavy weights and to push myself through like the hard workouts and the extra hours of cardio. And I use visualizations to help me win. And yes, so you could use it in so many ways, but I love being physical when I'm angry, when I'm mad, but not saying like violently physical. Yes, you can go boxing, kickboxing, go run, go like sprint up a hill. And that's powerful. You could release anger that way. And did you know, there's another quote I do want to say, for every minute that we remain angry, we actually give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. So it comes down to, it's our choice. Do you want to be mad? Do you want to be angry? Or do you want to choose to transmute that, feel it, process it fully? Know that you are not that. You are just feeling that emotion, observing it, expressing it without hurting yourself and other people. And transmute it, move on. Don't stay in it so long. Don't hold on to it too long. It's like holding a hot coal. Yeah, like a rock that's burning. Like just get rid of it, drop it. We're only burning and hurting ourselves, and we're suffering when we are holding on to that for too long. And so a part of it is also, yes, we're transmuting something from maybe our ancestors, maybe like for me, like my whole family. I haven't experienced much anger recently, but I do have it in me. And I see a lot of Vietnamese people around here that experience rage and anger, and they get mad over super shit like money, or even missing their bus stop, like their destination or something. Just people get angry and ragey. And I think it's all part of being human. We get to experience everything. It's just, how do we deal with it? How can we not, go around talking shit about somebody or being so toxic, because it does eat us alive in our bodies. It's so toxic for our brains to have all these negative feelings and negative thoughts when we're mad about something or somebody. And trust me, I've been there. And sometimes it makes me feel so closed off. It makes me feel very masculine and in a very negative power, because I'm so mad that I want to just go and like punch something, and I want to fucking hurt somebody. Or I think I have all these negative thoughts of like, oh, I want this to happen to them. Like, it's so bad. It's very toxic. Like, oh, when I was mad at my dad when I was a teenager, I was like, I want to poison my dad. I'm going to put a bunch of this shit and like mix up all his medication. Like, all of these thoughts are hurting nobody but you. And you're building this toxic energy that's spiraling inside of our body and our aura. Like, we attract more negativity into our lives, and it's not good. This is how you create such bad mental toxic habits, and it affects the whole being and body and the soul. Like, you're constantly going around judging people, you're constantly talking shit about people, you have nothing positive to say, and every single day is just negativity building up because of anger. And the anger is not anyone else's responsibility, it's yours. It's how do you deal with healing that? Where is this pain inside of our bodies coming from? Why are we so triggered? And why is this pissing us off so much that it is robbing us from our own joy and happiness every minute? Like, we have the choice to change that. Now, the awareness is number one. So changing through awareness, having awareness of like, oh, I need to take a deep breath. I need to 5 minutes, sit with it for 5 minutes. Close your eyes, deeply breathe, exhale fully. If you need to scream, scream. Go break shit in a place that's safe. Yes, they have those break rooms or whatever you call them, the places where you can book a session or an hour of breaking glass and objects in the space, and that's very good for our body to purge the anger in a healthy way without hurting people. Like, and please don't hurt yourself when you go into those places and spaces. But for me, how I got some few things out, like when I was mad, I would go and scream inside of a pillow. I would scream on the highway with the window down. I could scream while driving with the window up completely, playing loud metal music, lifting weights, breathing and exhaling fully with an audible exhale, like just let that voice out. Sprinting and running and moving and exercising, using this physical body, even like self-expression through dance. Yes, there's so many different ways, but yeah, be mindful. Like, don't be, it could be very aggressive, but as long as it's not hurting yourself and anybody else. So there are so many ways to express it, and it's good to talk about it. It's good to talk, express it through your words and talk shit, whatever, to someone you trust and a friend that, say, hey, can you hold space for me real quick? Because I just have so much anger and rage about this person right now that I just need you to not judge me, but please just hold space for me because I need to get this off my chest. Because as humans, yes, we tend to talk shit. We tend to say bad things about people. And if we don't have and especially when we feel like we want to, and we don't have a space to do that in, or have a friend or someone that we can trust that we could just vent to and say, yo, I'm about to say some bad, negative shit about somebody, but let me just do it, get it off my chest, and then be done with it, and ask for forgiveness. Because some of the shit we say can be very freaking low, very dark, very low. But it is all part of embracing your shadows. It is part of shadow work. It is okay. It is fucking okay. It is all okay. As long as we don't hold on to it too long, and as long as we know that we don't mean it intentionally to hurt somebody, we just have to put it out intentionally, like, yo, God, hold my space right now. I just need to curse the shit out of this person, or say this much, and then please forgive me. Like, for me, I want that. Like, I want to say so much shit about something or someone I'm angry about, and I want to be able to not be judged if I have to tell someone this shit, and not be ashamed of it. Because that's it. Anger ends up leading to shame. And that's why people don't want to feel angry and don't want to say certain things to people and hurt their feelings. But there is a safe container that you can do that at. Sometimes you can just journal and you can write it to yourself. Because yes, it does feel very shameful sometimes to express the stuff that you have in your mind so negatively about something or somebody. And you don't want anyone to know and hear it. But yeah, journal it, write it out, talk about it. It will set you free. And eventually, I hope you do share this with the person. Say, you know what, I felt so negative towards you. I felt this anger. Please don't take it personal. But I just know that I'm processing it and I'm doing my best to really work through this by myself. But I just wanted to let you know that I talk shit about you. because I was mad, but I didn't really mean anything. You know, like be fucking authentic and be honest. It could do so good for you. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope this video made some sense and I hope it resonated with somebody out there and I hope it can help you in some ways, but just don't be ashamed of being angry. Don't be ashamed of feeling that emotion. But just do know that it's not you. You're not that person. Because I've had exes tell me that whenever I have PMS, I'm so angry. And then that's like most, like 10 days out of the month. So it makes, and then during my period, I get kind of moody, but it depends on what lifestyle I'm living, like what kind of food I'm eating, what kind of, if I'm doing breath work, if I'm incorporating yoga, if I'm doing like listening to sound healing music or sound baths. If I'm not taking care of myself, then my hormones are out of whack and disharmony with myself and my body, that I become very moody and I become very angry and agitated and aggressive, that my exes would be like, no, that's just you. That's just who you are. Don't blame it on your PMS. I'm like, dude, are you serious? I know this is not me. This is not me. This is just how I am right now in this moment. Every month I get this way. This is called a death and rebirth, y'all. Women need to embrace it. We get PMS, we get our period, we get bitchy, we get ragey, we get batshit crazy. And that's fucking okay as long as you can honor and embrace that within yourself. And like, if you have the awareness, you can tell people like, yo, I know this about me and I'm trying to work through it. It's my hormones. It's not me. It's just, I have to feel it. This is part of my death right now. This is me dying. This is having me dying so I can have a rebirth. So claim that and honor that, because it took me years to fucking embrace and love myself. When I was mad and angry all the time during my PMS, like I did not want to be with anybody, with my boyfriends at the time. I was like, I didn't want to be around anybody. I wanted to be by myself so I would not project anything and just like keep them safe from my craziness. But I have to honor that. I have to love and honor every part of me, especially during the times where we're freaking dying every month. Women die every month when we bleed. We have like a shedding, a part of us sheds. And that's why we do go through some anger and rage and some hormonal imbalances. But we have awareness, we take action on going to yoga classes, breathing, meditating, taking 5 minutes out of your day and just sitting with it, breathing and sitting with it. Get the fuck off your phone and just sit with that feeling and let it pass. It will always pass. Every single emotion will always pass. Transmute it through breath work, transmute it through awareness. So yeah, I hope this helps y'all because yeah, it helped me a lot too in my past, and I haven't felt crazy triggered or anything like that lately, but even my hormones right now have been really good, regulated during my PMS time. Because I've been incorporating sound healing, sound baths in my daily practice. So I hope you guys could follow through with that as well. It's very powerful. So yeah, anyways, until next time, namaste and bless your souls and stay grounded.